when I was younger, I kind of had like a, oh, it's never going to work out kind of mentality.
Mm,
Like, oh, my life's never going to work out. I'm never going to be happy, whatever it is. And so it's that sort of was like muck that was stuck on everything that I was doing. So even things that were positive, I don't think I fully appreciated how positive they were at that time because I kind of had to sing like, oh, my life's never going to work out. And so, and that sort of manifested in a sense with the challenge that I had to actually become Ironman World Champ because if I could win the Ironman, that would mean that I had hit the pinnacle, I had hit the peak, and there was no higher mountain to climb. But I had that muck of, oh, my life's not going to work out. Like I don't deserve to win that. Somebody else does, and I'm not worthy of that win. And so in 1989, as I was going over to the island, something shifted, and I had this feeling like maybe you'll never win it, but
that's okay.
you actually are worthy of being the one to be in the lead of that race and to cross that line in first place.
Mm,
And it was a big mantle to feel like I would be worthy. I as a person could could own that title and honor it in a way that it should be honored. And I think a lot of times people have a challenge with that. Like, am I deserving of something great to take place in my life? Not not take place like it's owed me,
mm-hmm.
but that if I work for it and I achieve it, that I am worthy of that.
Mm,
And so that was that was a hard one to overcome. Um, and as far as sort of keeping going, like I said, the first 6 years I didn't win in Kona, and so I had a lot of years where I was in the lead, but then something would happen, I'd fall apart, Dave Scott would win, and picking up the pieces from each of those six. Sometimes it was easy, but sometimes it was so challenging. Like, I dedicated an entire year to this goal and I fell short. And so, at some point when you keep falling short, you have to ask yourself, is it because is it because I'm doing something wrong? Or is it because the goal that I'm after is just not achievable for me?
mm,
You know, it's so worthy to dream big, but sometimes those big dreams, they're just not going to manifest for you as a person. But so maybe the goal itself is wrong, or maybe the reason you want to accomplish that goal is wrong. Maybe what you're trying to get out of it isn't what you're supposed to get out of it. And so again, in 1989, it was hard to get myself to think a seventh try. And so then I shifted why I was going back. I was trying to win. I'm like, you know what? Forget that.
mm,
Who cares?
yeah.
You know, I might have the best day ever and somebody else is still going to be better than me. So what has purpose and meaning? And so when I went there in 89, the goal was really to finally put together a really, really solid swim, bike, and run. And however it turned out,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's going to
Yeah.
be okay. And so that was a big shift also. But I've had, those personal things that are difficult like every single person. I had a tough relationship with my father, and I didn't feel like I got that guidance and nurturing that a son should receive from their father. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was hard to overcome. I was married and got divorced, and the
Mm,
divorce was very challenging, and getting to a point where my ex-wife and I actually have a good relationship now. And uh,
wow.
I mean, everybody has a story. There's
Sure.
there's no person on this planet that if you sit down with them isn't going to have a good story. And it's so easy to look at
That's a great line. I'm
it's
gonna
it's
clip that.
yeah, it's so easy to look at oh, look at Jan Frodeno. He's got it all under, he's got it all in there. Marinda Carfree, or, you name the person. Yeah, if you dig deep, you'll find a shocking story. Like,
Yeah.
wow, you had to deal with that. You're a person like everybody else. And that's sort of part of, like, when people compete at the Ironman World Championship, they go home and they kind of get depressed,
Yeah.
like
Some of the
that
Olympics.
post-race depression thing.
Yeah.
And I go, that's because you've had this huge focus that has this amazing energy with it. When you have 2,000 people at this event that's so challenging and you're all at 150% of your best, that creates an energy that will never be, it's there's not a lot that can match that.
Yeah, it's
And
really
when you go home, you've got to take out the trash, and you've got to do your dishes, and you've got to make your bed,
yeah.
and you've got to pay your bills. And that's probably not quite as exciting as crossing the Ironman finish line.
Yeah,
But for
100%.
me, I actually loved that deep contrasting balance. Like, I loved getting ready for the Ironman, and I loved coming home and just waking up in the morning and having a cup of coffee.